Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, DFS, and welcome to another program of Why Religion. And on today's episode, we are going to discuss about another important topic, as we have always done. And today's topic is how to find a spouse. And I think that would be a very good lesson for those who are not yet married and want to venture into that, and those who still want to have more than one wife. To help us understand these important topics and the object of it and all other things that we have to discuss on this, on my immediate right, I have Brother Fabakary Kale, who is a regular guest on many of MTA Gambia international programs, and on his right too we have Brother Musa Kinte, who is as well a regular guest in our studio. Gentlemen, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam.
First of all, as almost tradition requires in the studio, we start with the immediate right, and Brother Fabakary Kale, take us through the importance or the object of marriage.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We want to thank Allah for giving us the opportunity to come here again and discuss important topics like marriage and so. Marriage is a very important institution in Islam. For we are taught in the Holy Quran that celibacy is not allowed in Islam. So if we cannot stay that way, then we have to go into an institution called marriage. Essentially, it's a relationship, a harmonious relationship between a man and a woman. And the object had been stated in many verses of the Holy Quran. In one part, the Holy Quran told us that Allah has created us from among ourselves partners, so that we will have happiness and piety. So the essence of marriage isn't only there for just to get the happiness, the harmony of the compound. Like I said, it's a harmonious relationship, but it's also to, guide us and help us to be piety and be righteous. For that is the best for human beings. Islam itself wants piety and wants everything to be clear. So in that essence, we are to get married, to procreate, to expand, to develop in a system that has been set and clear for us. So that is marriage and its essence.
Thank you very much, Brother Fabakary Kale. And Brother Musa, if we would come to you now, you have touched a little bit on the object of marriage, that is according to Islam. But is there also any reasons that we can give for other people who are not members or adherents of the Islamic faith for them to get married?
Well, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum, viewers. Well, what you said, Ustaz, is that Brother Kale has touched on, yes, the aspect from the viewpoint of a religious person. And we know that marriage is not an institution that is confined to people who are religious only. We know that procreation is a factor that ensures continuation of the human race in the world. So whether you believe in God or not, you know that the future for humanity is in procreation. Science has shown us that in our researches and everything, scientists, most of whom, the very highly placed ones, are atheistic in their tendency. But notwithstanding, they believe that the quality of the next generation of any, even in the animal kingdom, for instance, in animal husbandry, the quality, looking at what you want tomorrow. Sometimes we mix breed, sometimes we try to separate some animals that have certain qualities, resistance to certain natural conditions, you know, and we make sure that we marry them, we bring them together. You know, we will not call it marriage because this is between animals, but then we allow them to mate and procreate, so that the next offspring generation of that species will be resistant to the hazards of the environment that they are in. So that in itself is one reason why we must match, you know, people of certain qualities to ensure that those qualities are transferred to the next generation. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the reasons why marriage is important among human beings, because human beings being the echelon of creation. If anything, the most important creatures in the universe are human beings. So if we do not have quality human beings here on earth, it defeats the purpose of creation. So it's important that we make sure that we match the best, so that the next generation will become far better than the present one, or at least if nothing, they'll be the equivalent of the present. And we know this tells us scientifically that genetics and hereditary are a reality. We inherit from our parents the qualities that we have from the genes and even body cells, our appearance and everything. We inherit from our parents. So we should look for those qualities that we want to preserve and ensure that we match them. The next generation will inherit that one, and it will go on the same line.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I think in the beginning you made it very clear that there is no room for not marrying in Islam. Mm-hmm. That is, celibacy is not allowed in Islam. But that will bring us, and what he said just right now, that for the human race to continue, there must be procreation. Mm-hmm. So what would be the stand of those who are calling themselves lesbians and gays, who are against man, woman being together? They advocate for the same sex being together.
Okay.
I must call them the enemies of the human race. If I must.
Yeah. If you follow the Islamic teachings, we remember and recall a hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "O company of youths, those of you who have got of age, get married, and it will guide you, it will lead you to righteousness, and so, and it will help you guide your gaze, and so." And then he said to them that those of you who cannot get married should keep fast. So there is no other condition to it. If you cannot get married for whatever reason it is, please keep fast and help yourself out. What I will say to those of they call it the transgender, these are social concepts. And then people believe in these concepts as we believe in religion. It's a conceptual thing. I mean, these are based on people's personal mindset. I choose to become a Muslim. That's my mindset. And I choose that identity for myself. And therefore, I will live by Islamic doctrines and Islamic teaching. And those who choose not to will live by their own doctrine and teaching. But they could be reminded that the actions of homosexuality isn't something new in human society. It's been here generations past. We recall that Hazrat Lut was sent to advise his people against that. And they've been punished, and so because of those actions. So whether you believe in Islam or not, you are going against a set of creation of human life as is proclaimed or provided to us by the Creator. I call it lack of knowledge, because the purpose of knowledge in Islam is to understand things and make best use of them. I am saying this on the basis that when Hazrat Adam was created and the angels were asked to submit to Hazrat Adam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we were told that the first issue is you creating something that is going to shed blood and create confusion. And Allah replied to them to say, I know that which you know not. And later we come to realize Allah taught Adam the name of things. So Allah taught Adam, that is provided knowledge to Adam, not only to say this is a goat, this is a sheep, this is man, this is woman, this is book. But when you know this is a goat, you know the use of the goat, that this is meant for food. This is a book, it is meant for knowledge. This is a tree, this is what it's meant for. This one, it's a human being of an opposite sex, and that is a female. And the purpose for it is to provide comfort to you, one, and to help you to be righteous, and to serve as a protection for you. But that's what Allah says in the Holy Quran, that they are a garment for you, and you are a garment for them. So if you choose yourself to be your own garment, and left the one that had been provided by your creator, by your maker, I take it to be erroneous and lack of knowledge of the human person, or deliberate actions of people just to do what they want to do. And I think it's because they did not understand their maker. You see, understanding your maker, understanding that there is somebody there is a creator that makes you who you are. You didn't come by chance or by accident. Once you lose that knowledge, the attributes of Allah, you will do anything.
So if I get what you're talking about is for the world to get rid of such ideas, concepts and ideologies, it is for them to come back to God and recognize Him. It is only in that way that we will be able to get rid of this and give them a better perspective than they are propagating.
Yeah, because the issue here, like I said, is we're not created for nothing. We create for a purpose. Every human being, Allah told us in the Quran that He's created us to worship Him. And worshiping Allah does not mean you pray Allahu Akbar, and it goes beyond that. He's giving us a whole set of life. And then that set of life, the way we should live, He has coded it and provided to us in the form of Islam. And that's why we told among the last verse of the Holy Quran to Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam is when Allah told him, today I have perfected your religion and I call it Islam. So that means we need to...
Thank you very much, Brother Fabakary Kale. I think we should go to the next points of discussion. And I will come to you now, Brother Musa Kinte. We are talking about the object of marriage, and from there we were going to talk about also how to find a spouse, which is the main topic. And now let's talk about the roles of parents in getting their children male or female counterparts. What are the roles of parents when it comes to that?
First of all, let me try to provide some nexus between this question and where Fabakary has ended. I mean, the topic he has just touched on, that is lesbians and gay community, the heterosexual people and all whatnot. He spoke about their lack of knowledge. And my perspective is also that, and this is, of course, from the writings of the Prophet Messiah, like for example, philosophy of the teachings of Islam, that there is a freak of nature. As a freak of nature, it means something abnormal, is in their system, in the genes, in their way of thinking, because otherwise, even among lifeless objects, we have seen, for instance, in magnetism, that like poles will repel, unlike poles will attract. In the animal kingdom, we have not seen this at display except in a certain area. And one of the reasons why we are advised not to consume the meat, the flesh of swine, is this. It has been explicitly dealt with in the book of the Promised Messiah called Philosophy of the Teachings of Islam, where he said that one of the reasons of prohibition of pork is that because among all the animals, the swine, the pig, is the most homosexual. It is not natural. You crossbreed even animals of the same, of different classes. If they don't belong to, even if they are in opposite sexes, you crossbreed them, you will never get anything. A donkey mating with a horse will never produce anything. So the concept of a man and a man, having a relationship that they think, can bring about, can be only based on one thing: a freak of the mind, and also physical and mental, the attraction physically, the attraction physically. You want only the pleasure of the body. And, even that one, come and look at it seriously. You can't understand it. So that is why I said approaching the issue from that direction. We should be careful. And this is why parents, now that we have asked this question, have a responsibility. First of all, they themselves must choose wisely their spouse, so that you don't mix the good one and the bad one, so that this tendency does not feed into your family. If somebody has this kind of freaky mind and you get married to him, you are risking somebody in your offspring, the next generation, inheriting those qualities from that parent. So it's dangerous. So one should be choosy. As young people, of course, they lack the experience and the knowledge of the past that the elders will have. So parents, they stand in a position of responsibility to guide the next generation whilst they are making choices that are going to affect the other generation that will follow them. If we don't, we have sacked our responsibility. We have, how do I call it? We have stepped back from, a progressive line that we should have followed. We have put the next generation in jeopardy. So what we should do is having to look at the parents of the spouse that your child is aspiring to marry, and advising this child wisely. If you know of any trend, any quality in the parents, grandparents of a particular family, then your advice should be against your child, who you know has got very good qualities, marrying into that family and polluting the next generation that you intend to have, as quality human beings. So that is the essence of parents having a guidance responsibility, not imposing it on the children, because that will also corrupt the whole concept. You'll be responsible if there is a mismatch. You'll be responsible if they are incompatible because of their ways of thinking. And even that incompatibility is also related to this business of choice. Because those traits, if they don't show, if you meet them in the streets, you don't know them. All you have seen is the physical features. The latent qualities of the person will come to show sometime in the future. And when it shows at a time when you already have children, the damage becomes uncontrollable. So this is an area where a lot of care and caution has to be taken. So parents must not, be irresponsible enough not to take cognizance of facts that they have seen over the years before even the birth of their own children.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musa Kinte, and I think your answer, you have done justice to the question I have asked. Brother Fabakary Kale, it is not only the responsibility of the parents to help their children get the right spouse. I mean, some responsibility also fall on the person himself who is looking for a spouse. What are some of these responsibilities?
Okay. Thank you very much. When you look at the role of parents, I mean the whole marriage process, there are some fundamental things that must be put into place. One is the topic we are discussing, to choose a spouse. That's one. Two is to do the dowry as may be announced. Three is the courtship itself, the marriage process. And in each of these, there are roles. We talk about the role of the parent here, for example. First is to bring your child up rightly. You need to educate your child because your child is going into society. And some emphasis has been put on the girl child in this part, that the parents have a role to educate their kids and prepare them to be that person that is a marriage material, if that could be the right word, so that if it is a she, that good men or people from good family can come after her. And with a he, if you went after people's good family, they'll be able to accept you. The parents have that role. And that's where somewhere in the Holy Quran, Allah told us that I think it's a hadith, that is a hadith from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, any man who has 3 daughters, train them to the best of his ability, he is entitled to paradise. That's a hadith of the Holy Prophet. So we have a responsibility to train our kids. That's one from parents. The other one is the consent to serve as the wali, because no marriage is legal, no marriage is, acceptable without the consent of the wali. In the case of the female, it has to be. In the case of the boy, the consents are required. Now, when you move to the role of the people, the boy and the girl in the marriage itself, I want to start with that consent level first. If your parents choose somebody for you or identify somebody for you, you need to give the consent. You need to agree to it or otherwise. Islam does not allow us, it does not give us the free lane to pick anybody from anywhere and then just fix marriage. We need the consent of the parties involved through their walis. The other role is that we also need to keep ourselves relevant and rightful for the marriage, because marriage as an institution is a home of training, and as a man you will be assigned to be the head, so you have to work on that training. In the process, all this is the pre-marriage processes. On the marriage day itself, we have a role to go to the mosque and listen to the sermon and the advice.
Both the male and the female.
Both the male and the female. We can go to the mosque. The female, though, can be present, but will be at the Lajna area, need not be on the marriage presentation itself. She will be represented by a guardian, a wali. The male can be present himself. I know in this part of our country we said, no, you don't go. But you have a role there. You need to go and listen to the sermon and also to the advice.
I think what is being said there is about you and your wife, how
exactly.
you should live together.
So you should be there. The other role that what we have is, even though this is more about societal role, is because the marriage will be announced and there need to be some witness. So we have a responsibility here to invite some other people to join us to the ground. But the top and the down of all of these rules is to support our parents in the process. It's our duty though, but we have this rule to perform before, during. After the marriage, we have a lot of duties. Maybe over the discussion we will do that. After the ceremony is done, we can now discuss that rule when she formally become your wife.
Thank you very much, Brother Fabakary Kale. Brother Musa Kinte, I would just let you continue from where he stopped and that is about the roles and responsibilities of the husband and the wife. Let's talk about the husband first. I think we have a few minutes.
Yes, it says the duties of the husband are this. You know, I've got, so fortunately, I've got them listed out here for me.
Okay.
That he should respect and be very mindful of the susceptibilities of his wife. He should try to be a source of comfort to his wife and behave in a manner that convinces her that she alone is the center of his love and affection. Thirdly, he should provide for all her reasonable needs, keeping within his means, and should be disposed to spending in that respect with an open hand. The husband, fourthly, should participate in the management of the house by giving hand in the household chores of his spouse. Meaning, you should be able to take care of the children, you know, sing some lullaby and send them to sleep, you know, help them do the laundry sometimes when you're free. You know, household chores. It's not like there is a wall dividing the woman's responsibility from so that they don't cross into each other's area. No. Because all this builds harmony in the house. Yeah. And fifthly, he should look after her health and be always anxious about it. The moment you see, even they don't have to tell you, the moment you realize that the health is in peril, it should be your responsibility, because there will be no peace in the house. If your partner, the other I borrow this word, the better half, your better half is not feeling fine, how can you be at ease? You know, and the sixth one is refrain from keeping a close watch over every movement of your wife. Don't be like some guardian angel. You want to command, then life will become unbearable. Give her that space to be able to think and act on her own, with your guidance and advice from behind, kindly and nicely, you know? You should not treat her as if you don't have confidence in her, you know, and making life miserable. So, seventhly, you should always be disposed to overlooking minor shortcomings and be generous in forgiving and forgetting. You know, not every fault. You imagine all the good things she has done for you. One small mistake, and then you want to bring the heavens down. This is tyranny. There is no room for tyranny in the house of marriage. You know.
Thank you very much.
So those are
Brother Musa
few of
Kinte.
the points.
I think we are running out of time. Otherwise, I know we would discuss a lot on that.
Yes.
But we are time constrained. Brother Fabakary Kale, just in 2 minutes per se. Let's talk about the responsibility of the wife. He was one by one mentioning the responsibilities of the husband, but now let's talk about the responsibility of the wife.
Well, the roles are identical, even though we have been given a lot of assignment. At home, both male and female have equal rights. I want to first state with that. We all have equal rights.
And in religious terms also, we have equal rights.
Yes, you have equal rights.
Beliefs and rewards in religion.
Yeah, women have the same right as
men
in a family, in equity, and he says, but men have some degree of advantage over them. So that's some degree. So what is set up here for female, you have a responsibility to look after the comfort of your husband.
Comfort.
Yeah, the comfort of the husband. That is key. And give him respect that is due. Yeah, we know respect is reciprocal, but give the respect that is due in regard to his feelings. And then also that you also have a responsibility to treat the relatives of your husband like your own relative. That's an important component. And also beautify yourself for your husband. I know in modern society we have the opposite. When they are going out is when they dress up. But then you have a responsibility to beautify yourself for your husband. And then you should be mindful not to make unfair or unreasonable demands on your husband. You also have a duty to do that. And also you should be, you should be careful of the dignity and the reputation of your husband. Things that you do, how do they affect your husband? You need to look at that in your life, in your dealings. And then things you deal with him, should also be looked at, such that is looked at. And under all circumstances, your behavior should be peaceful and tranquil. Remember, I've quoted a verse where Allah told us that they are a garment for you
Yeah.
and you are a garment for them. So a garment for each other means we need to provide that peaceful, harmonious, tranquil society for ourselves. Islam has put the burden of, rearing up of children, of bringing on the wife. And then Brother Musa have talked about that you support them in that direction, but that had been put on the wife. I think basically these are few of the things that are the responsibility of the wife. One more thing I want to add is if the husband seeks your consent, which is also a duty and responsibility on the husband to seek advice, to consult with the, counsel with the wife on things, affairs of the family, please give good advice.
Thank you very much.
That's important.
Thank you very much, Brother Fabakari Kale and Brother Musa Kinte. Viewers, this is all time allowed us, and on today's program on Why Religion, we are discussing about how to find a spouse. And I think what they have said will make a great difference in your life, like it will in my life. Thank you very much. This is all time allowed us. I was your host, Ustaz Ibrahim Ba. And on your program, Why Religion, and from us here in MTA Gambia International Studios, we are saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.